Hello my dear friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joy and today in this lecture we will discuss about the alternate model provided by the Telangana government for MSP. So the government of Telangana has come up with an alternative for minimum support price. We will discuss what it is. Let us start. First of all, let us analyze what is the current affair. The Telangana government has adopted a per acre cash payment for farmers instead of higher MSP. Recently, the central government has announced a hike in the minimum support prices. But Telangana government has come up with a different scheme, that is providing cash payment for the farmers per acre of land instead of providing higher MSP. So we will discuss what is the scheme, how it works and what are the advantages of the scheme, and also we will see what are the challenges. So analyzing all this, we will see whether the central government can consider this model instead of increasing the minimum support price. So we have already made a lecture on increase in the minimum support price. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? What is the impact on farmers? What is the impact on rural economy? And also we have seen what is the impact on general economy or on the macro economy, how it impacts inflation, how it creates demand pull inflation. So all these factors we have discussed in a different lecture. So if you have a lack of clarity in this, please watch the video on increase in MSP prepared by me. I have shared the video on my Facebook page. You can also visit my Facebook page for any query related to your UPSC preparation. You can follow my page for all the PDFs and also all the video links of my lectures available on StudyIQ channel. The PDF of this lecture shall also be uploaded on my Facebook page. So let us continue. Now let us see what are the existing problems in minimum support price. Why we are thinking of a alternate for minimum support price. Let us consider the recent government announcement. The government, that is the central government, has recently announced for an increase in the MSP of 14 Kharif crops. But how is the minimum support price fixed? It is claimed by the government that it is fixed on a Swaminathan Commission formula. So we will see what is the Swaminathan Commission formula. According to Swaminathan Commission, it has come up with two formula for the calculation of cost of production. So government announced that government will be providing 1.5 times the cost of production of farmers. Now how is this cost of production calculated? This is according to Swaminathan Commission formula, and the commission has provided two formulas. The first formula will include the cost of the seed, labor, fertilizer, manure, insecticides, pesticides, miscellaneous expenditure, the basic expenditures for agriculture. That is A2. A2 means the basic expenditures like cost of land, labor, fertilizers, manure, etc. Plus FL is added. FL means family labor. If any family members has done labor on agricultural land, that cost shall also be added. So the first formula is A2 plus FL. Now, the second formula as recommended by the Swaminathan Commission was A2 plus FL plus cost on imputed rent and interest on land owned. Suppose if the land in which the farmer cultivates, it is owned by the farmer itself, there shall be some rent or interest forgone. So that shall also be added. Suppose if the farmer had leased a land from another person, he would have to pay rent for the land. So that cost is also added in the second formula. So the second formula will include A2 plus FL. A2 is the basic cost. FL means family labor, and thirdly a component is also added, that is cost on imputed rent, and this is called C2. So these three together will culminate C2. So these are the two formulas as recommended by the Swaminathan Commission. Now let us see what was the farmers' demand. The farmers demanded that they need MSP which will be equal to 1.5 into C2. That means A2 plus FL plus rent shall be added and C2 will be arrived. So C2 into 1.5 times shall be the minimum support price. That was the farmers' demand. And the Swaminathan Commission also suggested this. And let us see how did government implement it. The government claims that the C2 is considered for cost of production and C2 into 1.5 is provided to the farmers. But in reality, in many places this is not applicable. It varies from state to state and from crop to crop. So we can say that the minimum support price given by the government is crop specific and also state specific. So it differs for crop to crop. For wheat and rice it would be higher. For some other crops it can be less. So it is crop specific and state specific. In some states the MSP works well. So in those states which already have a robust procurement system in place, MSP will work well. And if suppose in some states there are no mechanisms for the procurement of crops, the MSP will not work well. So it is crop specific and state specific. And this is one major disadvantage of MSP. Now let us also see what are the problems with price deficiency scheme. So what is price deficiency scheme? Under price deficiency scheme or the PDPS, the farmers are compensated for the difference between government announced MSP and the market price. So if suppose the market price of a particular crop is lesser than the MSP or minimum support price, there is a difference between market price and MSP, and farmers will incur losses because the market prices are less. So in such cases, the government will compensate the farmers for the loss. That is, the difference between the MSP and the market price is provided by the government. And under the price deficiency scheme, there is no physical procurement by the government. The government will instead compensate the farmers for the price difference through their bank accounts. So no physical procurement is involved in price deficiency scheme. And the Madhya Pradesh government has implemented this scheme, and the scheme was known as Bhavandar Bhugtan Yojana. So under Bhavandar Bhugtan Yojana, the Madhya Pradesh government provided to the farmers compensation for price loss. So the difference between MSP and the market price was provided by the government under the scheme. But what really happened in Madhya Pradesh? The traders in the state ensured that the prices in the market are lower. So the traders brought down the market prices to a lower level so that they will receive higher compensation from the government. So the farmers had to sell their produce at the market at lower prices, and they got the price differential from the government. But what happened with the scheme? For the government it was a loss because the state could not afford it. When the market prices are much lower than the MSP, the government will have to provide compensation to all the farmers for all the crops. So government rolled back the scheme because the government was not able to afford this. So price deficiency scheme has disadvantages like this. Now let us look at the Telangana model. How the Telangana government was able to bring an alternative for the minimum support price. The Telangana government came up with a new scheme, and it was known as Farmer Investment Support Scheme. So what is Farmer Investment Support Scheme? It is an alternative for minimum support price, and under this scheme, the government will provide every farmer in Telangana a subsidy of 4,000 rupees per acre. And this is provided separately for Rabi and Kharif seasons. So there is no MSP, but instead every Telangana farmer would receive a total subsidy sum of 4,000 rupees, and this is for 1 acre separately for Rabi and Kharif crops. And the target of the scheme is 72 lakh farmers. 72 lakh farmers would be covered under the scheme. So this amount, this 4,000 rupees per acre, will help the farmers to meet a major part of their seed, fertilizer, pesticide, field preparation expenses, etc. So the cost of production shall be subsidized in such a way. And this will be applicable to the entire 1.62 crore acres cultivable land of the state. So this scheme is providing a subsidy on the cost of production. The cost of production will come down. And under the scheme, there is a provision for agricultural extension officers. So agricultural extension officers will be deputed for 5,000 acres who will report to the government whether a farmer is availing the benefit, is growing a crop or not. So accountability is ensured through agricultural extension officers. So they will make sure whether a farmer who is availing the benefit, the farmer investment support scheme, is making cultivation or doing cultivation or not. And also the farmers are made available with land ownership passbooks. So under the scheme, land ownership passbooks will be distributed to the farmers, and this passbooks will serve as a proof of land ownership of the farmers. So this proof of land ownership will make the farmer eligible for the subsidy. And there is also a provision for give up subsidy. That means the rich farmers have an option to give up their subsidy entitlement. We have LPG subsidy give up scheme. Likewise, rich farmers can opt to give up their subsidy amount. Another important feature of the scheme is that this will be provided in the form of checks. It is not direct bank transfer, it is through checks. The subsidy will be in the form of checks, and this will allow the farmers to deposit these checks in the banks of their choice. So the farmers can deposit these checks in whichever bank they want. And what is the advantage here? This will avoid a situation where the subsidy transferred into accounts is used by the banks to recover the outstanding loans of the farmers. Sometimes a farmer would have availed some loan from a particular bank, and if the subsidy amount goes to that bank, there is a chance that they will recover the loan from the subsidy amount. So in order to avoid such a situation, the farmer can deposit the check in a different bank. So this will provide flexibility to the farmer. Now let us see what are the advantages of such a scheme. The first one is regarding the administration cost. The farmer investment support scheme does not involve any physical procurement or stocking of grains. That means storage is not required, procurement is not required. So here the farmer is given the subsidy amount, and that is provided through checks. So this will have an impact on the administration cost. The government need not incur much administration cost in order to implement this scheme. The second one is income support. This scheme provides income support to the farmers through direct government payments. So it does not take into consideration what crop is cultivated by the farmer, or how much quantity is sold by the farmer, or at what price the farmer is selling the crops. So all these complications can be avoided, and it is totally an income support scheme which will provide a subsidy for the cost of production of the farmers. For example, under the price deficiency scheme, the government will have to arrive at a conclusion at what price the farmer has sold, because the market prices needs to be considered, and it has to be considered for the difference with MSP. The quantity needs to be considered, the type of crop needs to be considered. Under MSP also such things needs to be considered. But under such a scheme like farmer investment support scheme, no need of considering all these factors. So it is less burden for the government. The process will become more easy. Now the third advantage is that it is not a crop specific scheme. So MSP, we have seen, it is crop specific. It varies from one crop to another. So here it is not crop specific. Whatever crop is cultivated by the farmer, the subsidy amount remains the same. And for this reason, it is compatible with the WTO. The subsidy is compatible with the guidelines of World Trade Organization. So these are the advantages of such a scheme. Now what are the concerns or what are the challenges in such a scheme? The first one, we have seen that the amount is provided for the land owned by the farmer, that is per acre. Per acre 4,000 rupees is provided. But what is the problem in India? Most of the farmers are tenant cultivators. That means they do not have their own land. They cultivate in others' land which is taken for lease. So the tenant cultivators will be excluded because the subsidy is provided to the owners of the land. So this is one major challenge or drawback of the scheme. Second one is proof of cultivating. In most of the states, the land, agricultural equipments, electricity connections are not in the tenant's name. So this makes it difficult for the tenant to show proof of cultivating in a particular piece of land. So this is also one major challenge here. And third one is the mobility of the farmers. The tenants who do not own their own land, who take land for lease, keeps on moving from one cultivable area to another in different seasons. They move and cultivate in different plots from season to season, and this will also make it difficult for the better implementation of such a scheme. Now, what is the solution to overcome these challenges? The actual landowners who provide the land for lease, they should adjust the subsidy amount for the rents that they collect from the farmers. So they should reduce the subsidy amount from the rent collected from the farmer. But this is a big question, whether the landowners will do this or not. But if this can be done, this scheme provided by the Telangana government can be a solution for the overpiling of procured stock in the mandis, cartelization of traders under the price deficiency scheme, and also a solution for demand of higher MSP. You can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page, and also you can message me on my Facebook page for any queries related to your UPSC preparations. I wish you all a very good day. Thank you.